CNBC Africa's Godfrey Mwutizwa sat down with Gauteng's Premier David Makura to discuss how Gauteng plans to retain its position as the top province on the continent. Let's take a look.
We want to be a knowledge-based and innovation-driven economy.
How are you going to do that?
Yes, I think that's we have adopted as a provincial government a strategy which we call transformation, modernization, and reindustrialization of Gauteng's economy, what we call the TMR strategy.
Right.
This strategy is made up of 10 pillars that focus on...
Please share them with us.
A key number of these pillars look at the transformation of our economy, of the way government works,
right.
The space in which our space economy in this province, as well as the modernization of infrastructure, including improving in many ways the skills base of our economy. You know, investing in healthcare, public healthcare, so that we have a healthy population. You know, you can't be competitive. You need skills, but you also need a healthy population.
Absolutely, 100%.
And then, most importantly, investment in the state-of-the-art infrastructure.
Right.
So right from broadband infrastructure, you know, we are building a new economy. You need ICT is central to that. Investment in energy, alternative energy sources to build a broad energy mix, invest in expanding our water and sanitation infrastructure, the roads, public transport infrastructure across the province. So infrastructure investment is going to be the key driver of this.
I'm hearing a lot of expenditure here, Premier, and I'm thinking in my mind, how are you going to do this unless you change the way provincial governments are funded? Are you proposing to our national government, for instance, that you be allowed to issue bonds, that you be allowed to raise funds as a province? Because this is not allowed at the moment, right, under current law?
I think what you are raising a very important question. How are we going to fund this development? You know what the good thing is? Over the past 4 months, I've been talking to a lot of people, constituencies across the province, in communities as well, but business people. I have had very good discussions with business leaders, including visiting the Johannesburg
I'd like to know what you've been told.
You know, what are they saying?
What are they saying?
Firstly, they are our vision about transformation, modernization, and reindustrialization of the Gauteng economy to position it to be the leading economy in our continent, even in future, to build new sectors of this economy. As I was saying to you, this infrastructure investment includes new sectors of the economy, knowledge-based, innovation-driven sectors of the economy. The interesting thing, what makes me happy is that there are many private sector players who are saying, count us in, including on investment in infrastructure. They are saying, count us in. So what we are now doing, because, you know, business people don't like government to be talking and talking. They've said to me, we're now converting these ideas into projects. Sitting from where I sit, I know which infrastructure projects will be fundable outside the budget, where private sector people are saying, you know what, we will put in our money as a way of expressing confidence in that infrastructure, you know, of course, our regime for managing you know, private sector funding for public infrastructure is regulated nationally. So we will not be issuing bonds, but the National Treasury has been able to say to us, we have made an application there. There are certain infrastructure projects which we will do, you know, private-public partnerships under the regulatory framework that is guided nationally. But there's appetite for that. That's what I want to say.
So you are saying it's public money, it's private money, but you are also saying at the same time that you have asked from the National Treasury for more funds because of you have very specific projects.
Well, they give us the money due to us like all the provinces. The question is, what are we doing with this money? And we're saying in Gauteng to continue to be the driver of employment so that we can deal with poverty, we can deal with the inequality, to continue to be the driver of growth, to build an inclusive economy. We have to put significant funding into economic infrastructure.
Understood, Premier. Can I plant a seed in your mind?
Yes.
So I look at Gauteng and I look at the industries that are here.
Yes.
I look at the financial services industry that is here. I look at the huge amount of technological changes that are on the ground in South Africa. Of course, we also have the car makers and these other big industries that are here. And I'm thinking, if the balance sheet of Gauteng were to be put here and the balance sheet of no disrespect, Limpopo were put there, Gauteng would probably command a better rating than, say, for instance, Limpopo. And if it were able to leverage that to develop on its own, wouldn't it be an idea in the future to have the provinces in part funding themselves? I know I'm challenging a very big concept here.
Yeah. Well, I think within the framework of our national policy, there's scope for us to do what we can, to plan.
You don't want to rock the boat?
To fund. No, let me first say that firstly we understand we are 35% of the country's economy. Yes. So we must continue to ensure that for purposes of equity,
yes,
the rest of the country is funded by the resources generated by the Gauteng economy.
Understood.
Otherwise, there'll be no development.
Okay.
We are a country that comes from huge underdevelopment and injustice and so on. Okay. For redress, we should do that. But not, we have huge resources of the budget in business, in this economy in Gauteng.
Yeah.
The key thing is, and this is what I've been doing, is once the private sector understands that we have a government that's serious here, they'll put their money into these projects, and they are willing to do so.
Are you happy with the funding that you're getting from national government? Are you getting everything that you're asking for?
Well, I think there's no one who can ever say no. We're getting everything.
It's a tough conversation always.
But over the past few years, one of the important things is that the numbers in Gauteng have increased due to rapid urbanization. We now have the province with the largest population. So those things, the equitable share takes into account that population increase. It also takes into account levels of development. But managing how you ensure that the rest of the country is not left behind, but Gauteng gets its fair share of the people who are streaming in our schools, healthcare systems are overcrowded. That's something national government is very aware of. But if you ask me, I think we have everything we need to move this economy, this province, to the next level.
Absolutely. Mr. Can do.
Yes,
Mr.
we have what it takes. We even have, particularly amongst private sector people, a lot of goodwill. And we want to unlock that goodwill, to unleash that energy to move our province forward.